Hey guys, we got one of our Discord members in here today, man. Tyler is one of our most active members, so we're gonna be figuring out his personality type so we can get him that verified tag on Discord. Okay, Tyler, you don't have to go into anything you're not comfortable with, but what you do say we will use to find your type, man. Can you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name's Tyler and I'm 21 years old.
21. Okay, okay. What got you in the type?
Long story, but basically, in summation, just wanted to understand people better.
Okay, okay. What has been your experience with type?
Mm, it's interesting. I like studying psychology of people in
Mhm.
particular.
Okay. Um, hmm. Let's see here. So, what do you like and dislike about the typology sphere?
Um, I like that it can give some approximation about people's personality. But the biggest gripe I have with it is people that justify their um, deficiencies using type. Particularly, oh, I'm an INFJ, so therefore I'm not going to be successful because I have low TE or something.
Yeah.
It's a bit annoying to listen to.
Well, I mean, I think there's INFJs out there like Simon Sinek. Those are very successful people. Um,
Nothing personal, but I think that there's a large difference between learning your own psychology and basically saying just using it as a cop out.
I
It's
think,
supposed to be used as a tool for self improvement, I think.
well, I think a lot of times it goes back to that fixed mindset versus growth mindset. And a lot of times like type can enforce a little bit more fixed mindset, right? So you have to
Yes.
deal with that quite a bit. It's kind of damaging to a lot of people. Um, but it is what it is. A lot of people just looking for excuses to give them what they need to not go where they want to go in life. That's just how life is.
Yes.
So what do you want to be remembered for?
I don't think about things like that. When you're dead, you're not going to be conscious of what you're remembered for. But I would love to be a great writer and to be a good father one day, for the most part.
So writer, so you see yourself as a writer?
Yes.
Okay, what inspires you to be a writer?
Well, I Dost I read a bit of Dostoevsky. That really kicked off me thinking, may as well do it too. Why not? I can do this.
Okay, okay. What do you think are your best skills?
Um, I'm I'm pretty I'm kind of I'm at least I'm smart. I am good linguistically. Um, have a good lexical ability. I'm great analytically. I can make good logical deductions. Um, just it depends. I mean, I think that's a very broad question.
Okay. Thomas, anything?
Yeah. What what's something you think people misunderstand about you?
I don't think they misunderstand. They project onto me.
Yeah.
They project their idyllic notions, their imago of me, instead of just taking me for who I am.
They project their what?
They project their imago, like their aspirations, their sort of vision of where what I'm supposed to be, usually. But if I
Gotcha.
were to say something, I think people take me as very intense.
Okay, okay.
Gotcha.
What makes you happy as a person, man?
Um, just being in bliss. Just focusing on what I have to do and learning constantly.
Okay. How do you go about learning something new?
Well, that's an interesting question. So basically, what I'll first do is I'll break it. I'll go to look up things about it, whatever that subject is, maybe YouTube video or something online. Then what I'll do from there is if it's like a news story, then I'll start going, well, does this make sense? Is this logical? And and when was this written? Is there any more current information? Things like that. It's very important to make deductions from there, but then also to make some probabilistic inductions for the future outcomes eventually.
What do you think you struggle with the most?
um, what do I just sometimes understanding where people are coming from. Um, I'm a bit in my head. Um, I find people's minds like the hinterland of the world. Basically, that's the greatest mystery. It's unexplored, and it's a long journey for anyone to really get to know themselves, even let alone to really understand other people and where they're coming from.
What do you think is your greatest strength?
Um, well, I think a mixture of perfectionism and determination and intelligence would be my greatest strengths.
Where do you think your sense of intelligence comes from, and how do you use it?
My sense of intelligence is just an inner wellspring, I guess. Basically, I just have an ability to analyze situations, make deductions, and learn material relatively quickly. And whatever I want to do, I figure it out.
What's a skill you think everybody should have?
Oof. I mean, maybe a little bit of empathy, compassion, but also at the same time, being able to uh be knowledgeable and think outside the box.
What's something that stresses you out?
Social events.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm relatively quiet.
What aspect of it?
Understanding where others are coming from, the the social etiquettes and even when you're not in the mood to really talk to anyone, people still have an expectation about how you present yourself or engage with the world, I guess, is a nice way to put it.
Hmm.
Mm, if it's one thing you could change about yourself, what would you change?
Um, I would change being so perfectionistic.
Hmm.
I would also probably change being oblivious, more in my own world
Okay.
than on terra firma.
What do you think is the biggest problem with humanity, or if not the biggest problem, like one of the biggest problems?
Well, ideological and religious discrepancies. So, and moral tartuffery, where people will project their values onto you and their hypocrisy in general, and just general piety and believing that they are consequentially right because they thought of something and they have a belief and they adopt it as their core identity.
Okay. Okay. What's the ideal job for you?
Uh, Being away from people, anything not to deal with them, but writing, I do like working on tinkering with things, but for the most part, I like writing. I like crunching numbers, things like that.
Okay. Okay. Wow, man. It's crazy, man. Discord is gonna be blown away, man. I don't think anyone's seeing this one coming, man. I don't think anyone's seeing this one coming. Um, okay. Thomas, anything? I'm gonna be like, I can't come up with shit.
Well, I mean, I know you remarked about it, but like, yeah, no, you seem to have like a fairly developed like vocabulary. Like, would you say like how is that something that comes naturally to you? Something you've worked on? Like, how do you
Both,
um, huh?
both.
Both.
Yes, I've always been good at communicating, and I think um, people thought I was more informative than I am because I have to break it down because people will misconstrue what I say if I just make just statements. But if I break down the reasoning, I'm able to show the logical sequence.
Gotcha.
Okay, man. So what got you to want to join our group of all groups? Just interested.
Well, I've been watching you for probably about a year.
Oh shit.
I just was fairly depressed and didn't want to be around anyone or talk to anyone, and I didn't want to put myself out there, but I feel pretty good, and I thought I would try to open up.
Good, man. That's good, man. That's man, we like you there, man. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Um, what do you think is going to happen with AI? Your
Well,
thought?
it could replace a lot of jobs, and it could create a sense of a vacuum of meaninglessness in particular, but it also could enhance people's lives in different ways. It depends how people use it, but I'm suppose governments are unethical and corporations as well, so it will probably just be people living on UBIs and basically draining their lives away. Then it's kind of sad.
Okay. Um, what's your thought on the metaverse and how long do you think it'll be before we get there?
Well, about 20 years probably because you have to adjust for other factors. But if there's another pandemic or something, sure it'll be useful for people, and people will don't really like going out, so people will buy into the idea relatively quickly.
Okay, okay. If you had three wishes, what would you wish for? And you can't ask for unlimited wishes or anything
Okay,
to augment to get more wishes.
so I would wish for a successful career as a writer. I would wish for a happy marriage, and I would wish for buying a home at this time. I mean, with 7% interest rates, that's kind of a bitch.
Yeah. Well, you got to look from a historical point of view. These are still low interest rates.
Yes, well, I mean, but you have to tag on the cost of inflation of these homes. You're not because see, my grandparents probably bought their home for 35K or something, and now it's worth about 1.2 million.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that was back in the 70s. Yes, so this is what I'm talking about, and so you have to tack on the principal amount too. So it's a lot worse than.
Yeah, yeah.
Jesus, yeah, that's a good point.
That's fucking. Oh, yeah, I didn't see that either. Fuck. Holy shit. Um, hmm. Let's see
Uh,
here.
if you could make one law, what would that law be?
Hmm, one law. Um, People need um probably universal healthcare.
Really?
Why universal healthcare?
Well, but I think healthcare isn't just a right of a few. It's not just some sort of privilege. And I think that the United States is well capable of providing such a thing, but we spend more money on defense and other matters, and we need to take care of our own people as more of a priority instead of just defense budgets. We spend more than the than other countries, all countries combined on defense. So it's pretty stupid.
Okay, okay. If you could give yourself, younger self, a piece of advice, what would it be?
Be less hard on myself. Life's already hard enough. It's a journey. It's a path that you have to go down the sinuous rails, and then you're going into the delta of the world, down the delta to the world, and you're in the large body, and you got to not only be resilient but strong amidst people criticizing you, people talking, making rumors, things like that, and you got to have a backbone, and beating yourself up over things isn't going to help you. So basically the greatest skill is of mine is partially my determination, but the pessimistic side is my perfectionism.
Okay, so how would you describe your perfectionism? How does how does it slow you down? Like, how does it affect you?
The mental drain of constantly just beating yourself up inside, I would say.
Well, for what? Like, about what?
About not just it's almost like it just not being right, just not being perfect at everything, or not getting as high of a grade when I got like a 93 or something on a test.
Hmm.
Could be something as simple as that, and then thinking, why did you miss this one? And you'll harp on it forever and ever, and you just and it's just a vacuum.
Okay. Um, what methods have you used to get over that?
Um, Writing has been a key factor in self-realization, and I would also point to um the fact that you have another day, another time to figure things out, and in life is a marathon, not a sprint. And I would tell my younger self that as well.
Mhm. If you were to give some general advice to um people, what would it be?
Think.
Okay. Uh,
People use their base their lives revolve around their emotions, and they don't typically try to critically analyze and think about situations. They just jump into haphazardous conclusions, and then they mess up their whole lives because of a silly idea.
okay. If you mind me asking, man, have you taken the IQ test and what is it?
Mine is about 140 points.
140 points. Well, I guess. Thomas, we done here, man.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, man. So I mean, I know people in the group were typing you what ENFP or
Mm-hmm.
something. Man, we didn't get that, but I'm a bit in my head, so it hit you for abstraction, analyzing things, making deductions. Everything you kept saying kept going back to deductions. So I hit you for TI, TI strong there. Um, a little bit of empathy and compassion. Hit you for FE there, FE and TI there. Heavy. You have heavy trouble with FE inferior. Social etiquette, being around people seems to give you quite the anxiety. So I hit that for FE inferior. Being oblivious to things, I hit you for SE trickster. Talking about discrepancies and things that people are missing. TI again. You want people to show logical sequence. TI again. Your whole AI rant was all outcome focused. So man, we have you as an INTP.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I don't. I mean, they were saying I ENFP in the group. Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
fucking.
knew they were wrong.
Yeah,
I don't have TI Trickster. That's the only reason I can tell you. Everything I do is just off of logical deductions. Like I was thinking, I was thinking these people actually type.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's
Every one of my phrases was syllogistic. In nature.
yeah, yeah. Well, we got it for you, man. INTP. I'll be sending you your verified tag in the
Yeah.
group, man. It's been an absolute pleasure. You got any questions for us?
Not not really.
All right, well, man, looking forward to seeing you in the group, man, and keep staying positive, man. We need.
Actually, one.
What's up?
How do you think I can improve like socially, like as an INTP?
Okay, so as an INTP, the best thing I've heard is what Christian says is just being able to put yourself in more environments where you have to take on more people's emotions, right? So
Mhm.
if that means like a Discord or just like getting out and like being a part of events,
Mm-hmm.
like it's gonna suck because it's like a muscle and it makes you feel uncomfortable, but over time you get a lot better with it. I suppose I would say when talking, I do have a video on INTP as well. I think it's a really good one if you watch it. But I would say when you talk to people, make sure that you talk to them at their level and not at a PhD level, right? Because that's a big problem with INTPs. As soon as people INTPs start talking, people start losing consciousness. Um,
Did I make you lose consciousness
No,
today?
no, no, but I'm just saying, it could be very tough because they talk at the level of like a PhD, like, not everybody is on that level, right? I always say Donald Trump does an amazing job because even if you're a fucking 3-year-old, you understand what Donald Trump is saying.
And I don't know if I would copy him,
I
but
would, I'm not saying copy him, but I'm saying like take like bringing it down a couple pegs, not talking
yeah.
to somebody from like you've been in your second PhD program. Like,
Hmm.
people don't understand that, and they're gonna like, and then nothing you say is gonna get through that. So just remember, like, hey, I gotta make this a little bit communication a lot more simpler,
Yeah.
do a lot better.
I I think that just I think as I've been communicating with people in your group, I've been able to elocute at a level where most people can understand what I'm saying. Some people probably don't. It's just it is what it is to me
Hmm.
because I can't simplify everything. Some things are just a matter of have just a level of complexity to them. It I mean simplicity is the ultimate form of sophistication, but you can't always simplify everything.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, my brain just automatically just simplifies shit. So it's like
Yeah.
when it comes to me, it's just like my brain rotates it around, and I'm like, boom, all right, I got it. And then like I can make some very abstract, very simplified because it's just this is how my brain works. It's I'm direct while you guys are informative. Um,
Yeah, but I think sometimes I learn better when things are more when it's more Delphic in nature because if you look at a text and you can analyze it from multiple angles, you'll actually extract more out of it than if it was just written simply because if you think it's simple, then people will just assume that they have a higher proficiency
mhm.
with that knowledge base.
Well, I think that's true. You see that a lot in the typing spheres, and that's the reason why a lot of like definitions are actually wrong. But and a lot of problem is because your type writes those books though. Your type is responsible for most of the typology stuff that's out there.
Yeah.
So, and most people can't read it and break it down. A lot of times the TI people do this thing too, is that they will not use the colloquial definition or something. They will use their own definition or something, right? So then when somebody like, oh, let me go use the colloquial definition, it doesn't match up.
Yeah, but I think some things aren't universal though. So like if I were to denote a quality of something in a definition, but there's also context and people don't understand nuance and context, therefore it's the onus is on them to try to understand the context and phrasing. This is just basic reading comprehension.
Well, everything ain't so basic, man. It actually stumps a lot of people. Like a lot of the typology stuff when it goes super deep abstract, I kind of sit on that for a few days, man. I sit on it for a few days before I actually like talk about it on a video or something because I want to make sure I get it right. And I think a lot of like the content creators out there have actually got it wrong. And then it leads to other people taking their information and then spreading it, and that shit's just wrong, or it has a hole in it or something like that. Uh,
Yeah.
so that's my big thing with that. But just basically just work on just getting out there, man, and trying things and understanding like you're gonna fail, but it's gonna get better. It's gonna get better, and just being around people and like check up on your friends. A lot of times INTPs will they're like they will only they want people to reach out to them
Yeah.
to feel useful, instead of just like just
Exactly.
being like useful to somebody. They're like, you gotta wait, you gotta ask the INTP for help. Like they're the most helpful people when you ask them for help. But
Yes.
damn, you got to ask them, you know. If not, they really ain't gonna help.
Yeah,
So
I get that. I think one of the biggest problems for us is like basically we kind of like being in our cocoon, but we also kind of think, what if this person doesn't reach out, ergo they probably don't really care or something like that, and that's kind
mhm.
of a logical mishap right there.
Yeah, that's relying on TI too much and not FE. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
but you start thinking, well, they didn't reach out to me, so tit for tat sort of situation.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I think a lot of you guys just have like you guys can solve a lot of problems, right? Some of the best like problems I have when I ask an INTP to like solve it like immediately, and I'm like, oh shit, thanks, man. You know, like very useful. Like INTPs really want to be useful. Um,
Yeah.
but
I
they solve
try to give
problems.
people definitions all the time in the Discord because I've seen so many f ups
Yeah, yeah,
and they don't, and I mean, and sometimes it's kind of surprising, but then at the same time I'm like, oh, that's interesting, and then I sort of deduct and I try to make more and more deductions, but people just sort of get lost, and then there are people say, well, I'm an INTP, I don't act that way. I'm like, well, I was kind of making just a generalized statement, so it's
yeah,
kind of annoying. But overall, it's a fun process. It's interesting talking and seeing other people's perspectives about things.
yeah. Yeah, man, and hope you're ready for the JFK typing, man. I
Okay.
looked at him again, and I have to change my idea of what I think JFK is.
Huh.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I figured I don't know if you agree with me, but I've pretty much pinned him as almost I would say INTJ or ENTJ. That's my conclusions.
I think I'm changing mine to we're gonna do it together, but I do agree with you with the TE.
When?
We can do it. We'll do. Can you do it tomorrow?
Yeah, I have well, I
Let me
have
know.
one thing around 11 at my time.
Okay,
So
just let me
tomorrow.
know when you're free, and we'll do it. I think JFK is coming down to. I think he's a TE user.
Yes, I
Yeah.
told you. Yeah, I
But
I
I
told
actually,
you he wasn't TI because that didn't make sense.
and he's outcomes. He's affiliative. I think he's ESTJ.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe I could see that, but I thought he had a little more NE and NI and NISE, but we'll see.
yeah.
But
We'll see. I think
yeah, he
it's
seemed like
ESTJ.
he did seem outcome though
Yeah,
when I
yeah,
first
yeah,
typed him.
yeah,
Will be interesting. It'll be interesting conversing about it and watching some
yeah,
clips.
yeah, yeah. Be awesome, man. All
Yeah.
right, man. Take it easy, man. I'll see you in the Discord. All right, T.
Bye.
All right. Thanks.